What's up, guys? So the next phone we have is the Galaxy S10e. This was a phone that's highly requested by you guys, and I don't make a ton of videos about this phone anymore simply because, it's a much older phone now and it's not getting security updates, but you guys really want to see this one. And just picking the phone up and using it again today, it is, such a fantastic device. I was really surprised at just how fast this phone actually is, and not just with opening applications, actually with just playing games and stuff in general. I was really surprised by that. The Snapdragon 855 chip, even in 2024, it's doing a fantastic job. And I kind of wanted to touch on why these smaller phones aren't really selling. And when I go back and look at the S10e's reviews, one of the things that you'll see, like the biggest problem with this phone, was the battery life. So if we look at the cons here, battery life is so. That was like one of the main complaints if you keep looking at the reviews here, the critic reviews. But you can see the phone itself is scoring pretty high. So 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 4.5, 8.9. This was a fantastic phone. When it first came out, especially for people with, who like compact phones. You got smaller hands, it's extremely comfortable. But from the data shows, it's a very small amount of people, because even if you have good battery life, like with the iPhone, I believe it was a 13 mini, even if you offer good battery life with a compact size, people still didn't buy it. So that's why Apple, pretty much scrapped it. And they put the Plus on there, and Samsung just got rid of it. They got wind of this and got rid of it. So it must, have not been selling well. Most compact phones don't really sell that well. The last compact flagship phone that we have is the Asus Zenfone 9. And that's a fantastic phone. But again, how long is Asus going to make that? So it kind of has compact phones kind of have this small little cult following, I guess. But yeah, a lot of people really, it's not the battery life. It really comes down to the bigger display here. Now, one of the first things I wanted to see with this phone was how well could this phone game. Has it really slowed down when it comes to gaming? And it's still a phenomenal gaming phone, even with the Snapdragon 855 chip. And I've never been able to try the Exynos model, but this phone, it's running Android 12, One UI 4.1, Snapdragon 855, and then we also have 128 gigs of internal storage and 6 gigs of RAM. And this phone also has SD card support. So the cool thing about the S10 series when it first came out is that this was sort of like Samsung before they started cutting stuff out to sell you up on stuff. So, take the headphone jack away, sell you up on earbuds. Take the SD card away, sell you up on higher configuration model. Basically, following the whole Apple method, right? Selling people up, making people spend extra money. But as far as the gaming on here goes, man, this thing is crazy smooth, guys. So I'm really impressed. And what's funny is you can find these for $100, right? You can find an S10e for $100, and I would just use this if you're on a budget, you could easily use this as a little mini gaming phone, because these are, like I said, $114. But you can see we're still playing at HDR Extreme, easily playing PUBG, and I have not had this phone really stutter at all too. And I'll show you guys. The phone, you can pretty much pay, $100 for a very good condition one. And yeah, this could make a really good backup phone as well too. I remember taking it to CES with me, and just having a big phone and then kind of a smaller phone is also really nice. I noticed you just have less weight on in your pockets and stuff like that, just less room, taking up. You don't feel like you're carrying around two big heavy phones. But yeah, the Snapdragon 855 chip on this phone is still blazing fast, guys. I was really surprised by just how fast this thing is. Now, this phone has a 5.8-inch display, and like I said, especially for someone like me who has kind of smaller hands, this thing is just crazy comfortable, guys. It is really comfortable to hold, especially you have those curved edges on here. It just makes for a really comfortable device being this small. You can easily kind of reach the corners of the screen really well. The display itself is still really good looking as well. It's the dynamic AMOLED display. It's HDR10 plus as well too, and it also is a 1080p display, 438 for the PPI, completely flat panel as well too. And of course we got the cool little punch hole up here, which you can put some really cool wallpapers on. But yeah, guys, the display on here is actually still really good. I'm just really impressed with the panel on here. It still has that really nice vibrant color and doesn't look outdated at all. Only thing you can say that's really outdated about the display itself is that it's not any type of 90 hertz or 120 hertz. But besides that, it's a pretty smooth 60 hertz panel, so it's not that big of a deal actually. But yeah, guys, really impressive panel for 2024, being such an older phone. I mean, this thing came out in 2019. It still feels really fresh. All right, so if we take a look at the hardware still looks pretty good on the S10e. It does pick up smudges and fingerprints really easily because of this glossy back, but I actually think the S10 series design has aged much better than the S20 series. Now that I'm looking at this phone, I actually just think these phones actually look better. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that. But what's cool about these phones is you have the headphone jack on here. Like I said, SD card support. This one in particular has a physical fingerprint scanner, which they did this to save money, and a lot of people thought this was an inferior way, but I actually think this feels much more natural than an in-display fingerprint sensor. Since your fingers already sit on here, I just wish they brought it down a little bit to like right here where your hands kind of naturally rest, instead of kind of putting it all the way up top, up here. But other than that, I think it's a fantastic way to unlock your phone. You can also use face unlock and stuff like that. It's IP68 dust and water resistant as well too, and like I said, it's just really comfortable to hold. Now, looking at the photos on the S10e, you can definitely tell this phone has aged a little bit. Now, not a whole bunch. When the S24 comes out, I'll do like some comparisons with the S10. But you can tell that it's an older phone for sure, especially when you take it out of any good lighting situation. But this phone in like outdoor lighting and stuff like that, it's fantastic, guys. I think it still looks really good. Dynamic range. The colors can be a little bit too colorful, like almost like cartoonish. But I still think like this is really nice camera, guys. I mean, you can see the shots for yourself. If you're in good lighting, you're still gonna get a fantastic photo. Now the selfie cam on here, it does look a little bit soft now that I'm looking at it compared to like just something newer. Even like an A54 is gonna take a better selfie than that. But yeah, I still think this takes pretty decent photos, especially for $114. I don't think the camera has aged horribly at all. But yeah, if you take it out of any type of good lighting condition, it will get kind of soft. But overall, I'm a huge fan of the camera on here. I think it still is pretty good. It's a 12 megapixel standard. It's 16 megapixel ultra wide. Shoots in 4K 60 on the front and back, and it has a 10 megapixel selfie. Like I said, it gets the job done for the most part. So I was actually pretty impressed actually just looking at these photos. Now the speakers on the S10e still sound pretty good. So they actually have a good amount of bass and actually sound pretty crispy as well. And also, guys, you do have pretty much all your same flagship features as far as reverse wireless power sharing, Samsung desktop support is on here. It's really not missing anything as One UI starts to become more updated. So, you'll probably start missing out on essential features. But for right now, you pretty much still have all the same stuff you have in an S23. And like I was saying, guys, the phone has a pretty small battery, 3100 milliamps. It doesn't charge really that fast at all either. And it's like 15 wire charging. You do have wireless and reverse wireless. But like I said, the screen on time, if you bought this phone, if you bought the phone brand new, you would still get like 4 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time. Yeah, so it's really not that great of a battery life. This is a phone that you pretty much have to charge, at least twice a day. So be sure to let me know what you guys think. I'm actually pretty impressed with the S10e. I was more impressed with like the pictures and the speed of this phone. It's really not missing a beat. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.